Welcome back to your newest favorite podcast, Beards and Bitcoins, where BitBoy and JChains get together each week to talk about crypto and things happening in the community. They will bring you some special guests and giveaways, so make sure you're subscribed. For all show-related news, you can find the guys on various social media outlets. Everything is listed on the official show Twitter account, @BeardsBitcoin. Now, without further introduction, two dudes that have beards like Bitcoins and want to talk to you about both, BitBoy and JChains.
Hello and welcome to your new favorite podcast, Beards and Bitcoins, where we're just a couple of dudes with beards who like to talk about Bitcoins. You guys can find us on Twitter @BeardsBitcoins, and I am your co-host, BitBoy. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram @BitBoy_HODL.
Hey everybody, it's JChains. You can find me over on Twitter at Colonel Custard. I go by the name JChains, though we talked about that last week. How y'all doing today?
Okay, guys, so last week we did our first giveaway with HODL Fuel. HODL Fuel is a crypto coffee, and they've got lots of different blends, and it is really, really good. I always like it when I can get behind something that's actually a good product, and HODL Fuel is out of control good. I actually met the guy behind HODL Fuel last week when I was in San Francisco, a really great guy. You guys can find them on Twitter @HODL Fuel, and their website is hodlfuel.com. They are a sponsor of our show, and we're looking forward to giving away another bag today. So, JChains, you want to tell us about our last contest winner?
Absolutely. So last week we awarded a bag of HODL Fuel coffee to Litecoin Furby. Congratulations to Litecoin Furby over there on Twitter. Make sure that you like everything we do. Subscribe to the podcast, or we're going to hold your coffee ransom. No, I'm just kidding. We won't do that. I'm kidding. We won't do that. Congratulations. You won it. Just get in touch with us, and we'll go ahead and make sure that that's sent on to you. But for next week, right, how did you want to handle that there, BitBoy?
Yeah, so for next week, we are going to do another giveaway. We're going to do it on Twitter, and it's basically going to be the same thing. I am going to give a question on Twitter, and all you got to do is answer it, and you have a chance to win a free bag. And all you got to do at that point, once you're the winner, is pick out your blend on hodlfuel.com. So be on the lookout. I will attach the question that you have to answer that'll have to do with today's show. It'll be in the post right after we post our podcast. So today we've got very special guests with us today. So I actually had the opportunity very early in my crypto influencer career to be on the show with the Coin Boys podcast. It was actually the first crypto podcast that I ever stumbled across. And I really like their motto. They're average everyday crypto bros. And that's basically what I am, what JChains is. We're not super techie. We're not, we try not to be, better than anybody else. We're just normal people that like crypto. And so I'd like to introduce the Coin Boys to you guys. This is Daniel and Andy. How are you guys doing?
What's up, everybody?
I'm doing awesome. What's up, guys?
I'm enjoying life right now.
Also, it's very different for us to be like sitting and waiting on the podcast for our introduction. It was very, relaxing. You guys made it very easy for us to enjoy that. And I'm really excited that you guys asked us to come on first.
Yes, I don't like to do much work, so this was nice.
This was awesome. So thanks, guys.
Absolutely. It's it's good to meet you guys. Hey, quick question. As we before we dig into the topic of what we're going to talk about today, I got a quick question for you guys specifically. So this is a new venture for me, getting into podcasting, and one of the things I want to know, as this goes on for me and stuff, is I'm still a noob, obviously. I'd consider myself a podcast noob, but I'm going to work on that, right? And so, in your opinion, what's the most important thing that you wished you knew early on so that you could, do your podcasting in a more better function?
So, I just want to chime in first because I've been podcasting for almost 6 years. And I could tell you the first one I ever did, I was not a podcaster. I work in entertainment, but I was never like a podcaster. I love podcasts. So what made me a better podcaster is honestly experience. The more and more you do it, the more and more you talk, and the more you talk to people and kind of get the idea of how your format works, the more comfortable you will get. I feel like it's a skill earned. People are natural. No matter what, there's people that can't talk on a podcast, can't be interviewed. That's true. But there's normal people that eventually can learn the skill. And I think podcasting it's talking, and you just got to make sure that you're being engaging, and that you're also, when you're interviewing, you're being engaging. I think that's the most important part. So practice and engaging.
Yeah, one of the things that I know, one of the things that I noticed, because from past podcasts, is to have a format. Make sure you get your format down. Make sure you understand. Like, you experiment with your format. It's going to be growing pains, but also know what you're going to say ahead of time. A lot of people want to wing it, and it tends to get a little muffled, or it tends to get a little sidetracked. There's lots of different things that happen when you go down this venture. So one thing that helped Andy and I was knowing, especially during interviews, like who's going to ask what questions are we going to ask, things like that, and what are we going to talk about prior to that. Have ABC ready to go. Organization is what I would highly recommend.
Like with podcasting, it's all about like, just, you don't have to like go crazy. You can make outlines. Just make sure you're being, you're kind of prepared. I think for when you're doing more of your like chill shows, like Daniel and I have very broad outlines, but for interviews, they kind of get a little tighter because we want to make sure that we're being professional and stuff like that. So, but listen, it's fun in the beginning. You're going to mess up, and that's the best part. That's the humanizing part of it. And that's why we're still average. Like, I'm still an average, guy. It's not like I'm a professional, but I have learned and gotten better.
Yeah, you just got to Alan Thicket. It's growing pains, man. Growing pains.
Yeah. It is. It's growing pains. But does that make sense? That's my best advice, or how I think to approach it.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, and I look forward to
JChains, in like 6 years.
In
6 years, you're not going to have a podcast. You're going to be on the Tonight Show.
That's what I'm talking about.
The main guy. You're going to be, and then you're going to say, you know what? The Coin Boys really taught me a lesson back then. Look where I am now. I'm the host of the Tonight Show.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring you on and humiliate you. It's going to be really funny. So
yeah. Anyway.
I really like your advice of that basically you have to be able to like to talk, because in the 4th grade, I actually won the Big Mouth of the South award as the 4th grade superlative because I like to talk too much. So, but in all seriousness,
Big Mouth of LA is a different kind of award. It has nothing to do with talking, especially with that. But nice.
Family friendly. Where's my BitBoy Urkel meme?
There you go.
That's funny.
Well, guys, today we're so happy to have them on, and like I mentioned earlier, we are doing a contest for the HODL Fuel. I forgot to mention what the contest is. We had already decided. It's actually, we're going to be doing a meme contest. So all you're going to have to do is drop your dopest and dankest crypto meme on the post. So you guys go ahead and be getting those ready. So today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about how to protect the crypto community from toxic people or ideas. And so that's really what our podcast is all about. As you guys who've been listening for a few weeks know, we really like to talk about community. We think it's super cool. The more I go to these conferences, I was just out at Litecoin Summit in Block World on the Busto Crypto Influencer Retreat. It was really, really awesome. And the more I get to know this community, just the more that I love it. And I think that one of the dangerous things about any community when it's so small is that eventually it's going to have all kinds of toxic ideas that start to infiltrate it. And I really thought the Coin Boys would be a great, some great guests on this, because I know that you guys are really big on community, and also, you guys really push for adoption and use case and things like that. And some of the very ideas I want to talk about today, such as people being obsessed with price and Moon and Lambo and things like that, you guys try to fight against that. So what are your just kind of initial thoughts about protecting the crypto community and how that plays a role in the future of crypto?
Well, this is a new space, brand new space. So those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. We've seen revolutions in the past. We've seen technical revolutions in the past, and we want to learn from those mistakes. Some of the mistakes that I've seen are allowing the media. It's twofold. The people just get really lazy, have gotten really lazy when they're doing their own research, when they're reading news articles in general. They stop at the headlines, and that's how you get it clickbait. That's how you get a lot of FUD generated just because of the headline. Like right now, I'm looking at a Bloomberg article. Bloomberg, all right, and the and it's from today, and the title says, "Hackers are targeting Bitcoin with a leaked NSA software tip," report says. That's the title. But when you click on it, basically, yeah, there are some hackers, but they're mining. They're not hacking Bitcoin. It's kind of like it's really fuddy, this particular article. So you, as a consumer, need to definitely do far beyond just the title. You have to read the article. Sometimes I'll click an article and the article is less words than the title.
Let me ask you guys something. How many times do you think someone has read an article headline and then made that their tweet immediately without reading the article?
That probably happens 1,000 times a day.
Oh yeah. Especially on the CT. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
But
The
just
CT,
link the if you link it though and give credit, then that makes more sense. But if you're just like and if you've read the article and there's a reason you're sharing it, I do it, but I share the articles I read. So I think BitBoy, we kind of are about being careful of what you're reading. Also, yeah, we don't talk about price and stuff, but we also want you to do your research because we're not saying, hey, everyone should invest if they want to, but we're not going to tell you what to, but just make sure you're well educated, and
yeah, we don't talk about price. Mainly that spawned from a little bit of, we don't do technical analysis. We can't tell you anything. And people who have not been trained in this, people who have not done this for years, don't know what they're talking about. And so I didn't want to be one of those people. And I mean, sure, it's fun to talk about price. Sure, it's and to say that I'm not in this for money 100% is a little bit ridiculous.
And also to say that I don't watch people that do talk about price is I can't tell you that I don't. I have, and
but
it's just our personal.
You have to come into this fact knowing that the price is gonna. Right now we're in a bear market. Price is gonna suck for a while, or price will go to the moon. But the point is, if you believe in this, if you're just doing this for money, you're in this for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
What is the moon line? What is the line? JChains, what do you think? What is the number of the moon? I need to know.
Oh man, I don't know. It's such a tough call. I don't know.
Here's the thing. If Bitcoin does its thing, if cryptocurrencies do its thing, there will be no moon line because money won't. Hopefully, fiat won't exist at that point. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
There will be no comparison.
It's a desolate and miserable place, the moon. I don't understand. It should be something.
Well, you prefer
something
Mars,
nicer.
I believe, correct? Andy?
Well, actually, just to correct myself, I think Crypto Breakfast was the first one to land on Mars and go the other direction. So I will support when Mars at all times.
Well,
yes.
there must be a German flag up there then.
There probably is.
Definitely is.
But yeah, you know that how I mean that's kind of like our approach, and we think that we hit a niche approach, but it shouldn't be niche, right? Like it really shouldn't.
Yeah, and that's like this is the second part of this. Like it's also on us. It's on us as content creators. We have to take We have to take a responsibility of not creating fuddy titles like I see on YouTube and on Twitter and on Medium and all these other things. It's like it's not. We can't do that. That's being irresponsible on our end. So our titles are not eye catchy when we put out a podcast or anything like that. But we're hoping that people will go in and listen to the content, or at least somebody will listen to a content and spread that to others. Say, hey, listen to this, check this out, so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, on YouTube, it's really hard because there's so much saturation already. And, a lot of the bigger YouTubers I've talked about, they actually spend more time coming up with their title than they do coming up with their content sometimes because it makes that big of a difference on who watches,
Oh, yeah.
And
it's huge.
Yeah, sure. You're trying to make they're trying to make some.
That is 100% a total YouTube thing, and I agree. I mean, I watch gaming videos that have the same. I remember when I was a gaming podcaster, I made thumbnails, but not like tricky things, but just like it would be like in big words. And stuff.
It's not.
But that's kind of YouTube's world.
It's definitely not easy to not do that. But it's kind of like one of those things where you have to decide what it is that you're willing to fight for. Like my example would be Peter Dinklage. Everybody knows Peter Dinklage. He's on Game of Thrones. Tyrion Lannister, a remarkable character. He just won an Emmy, and he fought hard, and he fought very hard, fighting against taking those stereotypical little person characters. He had to turn down countless elves, countless dwarves, countless anything, because he wanted to be taken seriously. So, and look at the quality that he's at right now. Look at what he's doing right now. He's an amazing, amazing actor. Nobody's going to question him on that. So that's the approach that I'm personally trying to take, and I'm dragging Andy along, and Andy's he's with me on that. So that's what we're trying to do, basically.
Yeah. But
I think I think you guys bring up a good point about about FUD, and it really works the other way too. It's not just with FUD headlines; it's also with positive headlines. I feel like so many people in crypto, and I feel like this is a huge problem. So many people in crypto, like, they're just looking for that echo chamber, that confirmation bias about their coin going to the moon, or the one that they're invested in being the greatest one, or the Ethereum killer, or whatever it is. And so you have headlines on the opposite side too, and you have places like CNBC where there was one specific day, I can't remember exactly what the headline was, that Bitcoin, the price was dropping, and the headline was something very negative, and then all of a sudden there was a giant green candle, and they literally changed the headline within 5 minutes to be something positive. And that really goes to just show you like how much people are, testing different models of content to be able to get you to click on their content. But at the end of the day, what the actual content itself is, it doesn't really change. They didn't change the article. All they did was change the headline. And you just got to be really careful. Like, everybody's trying to get you to click on their stuff, but you have to really get down to what the actual content says and make your mind up for yourself, and really just be an independent thinker. I think that's so huge in crypto, and we don't, there's a lot of people that aren't like that. They just see like one fact or one thing, and then they run with it, and they don't really do their research themselves.
Oh, no one reads, no one researches, no one does anything. Like you said, they just pick a headline and run with it, and then it's game over.
Yeah, I saw, sorry guys, I saw on Reddit, Bitcoin crashing, stock expert says, or analysis expert says, Bitcoin crashing. Right underneath that, Bitcoin mooning, technical analysis expert says.
And then probably like a meme about like the moon.
It was hysterical. I'm like, okay. So
that's it in a nutshell.
The beautiful thing is, the great thing is, it's just starting. We can correct course, and people, vet who you want to listen to. Really vet them. Like, check out what they're saying, check out what they're doing, and don't just blind trust everybody. Definitely listen to their message and listen and see who their sponsors are. That's a big thing as well. And that's actually for news today, because I'll tell you this. So I worked for a Lopez Tonight, which is George Lopez's talk show that was on for like 2 years. And George did something that should have made the news, should have been headlines, but it got cut because of the people who were running who ran that show cut it, and also ran some the people who were running that show also run some a very famous news thing that everybody kind of looks to and trusts nowadays. So they're able to squash stories because it hurts their brand. It doesn't really help them. So the beautiful thing about being in this crypto space right now is everybody can choose to be independent. Everybody can choose to be decentralized, and you can really vet each other right now.
Wow, Daniel.
There's that news right there.
Damn, Daniel's got the passion today, guys.
No,
I'm
bringing it in.
He's bringing it in. He's bringing it in. That's actually very good point. Very good, valid points.
Yeah, wow. I was like, just let it go.
Trust but verify.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have said it if I still cared for George. So
right.
So okay, so we've talked a little bit about the different aspects of the news and headlines and price predictions. What do you guys think are some other kind of toxic things that have crept into the crypto community? And one thing before you answer that question is, our community is really so small, and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. Yes, a lot of these people, like, I'll take somebody like Crypto Love, who is a good friend of mine. He's got 92,000 subscribers on his channel, or 93,000 maybe now. But what people don't realize is what a huge percentage of those came during the bull run and are gone. They still are subscribed to that channel because they just never went and unclicked it. But a huge portion of his subscribers, and all of these guys, Crypto Bobby, Supoman, Crypto Daily, all these guys that are 100,000 plus, they're actually losing subscribers every month. And the reason is because like people have just left crypto. And I don't think people realize how small the crypto community is. And that like almost all the YouTubers, like we all know each other. And we hang out at these conferences and things like that. Crypto Twitter is kind of the same way. It used to be where you couldn't keep up with all the tweets, but now, it's much, much, much slower. And so that's why I think it's so important that we talk about all this stuff and talk about some of the toxic stuff that could come in, because it is still small enough to protect. And, we're really setting the course for, the future of what crypto is going to look like. I think in 10 years, they're going to make movies about this time, maybe 15 or 20 years, because it's going to be such a revolution. But what are some of those toxic ideas that you guys think, have started creeping into the space or could creep into the space that we kind of got to fight?
There's definitely, and let's just be honest that a lot of genres and spaces have the same problems. Let's not forget that.
Exactly. But we can learn from those.
But we can learn from those because this is young. Now, one that I have recently had a problem with, I've been open about it on Twitter, I've made memes about it, is that being here as long as I have never in my life until just maybe a year ago heard the term no coiner. I hate it, and I'll come off on this, and I know it's fun in moments and memes. That's fine. That's cool, but we are not, those people that ran away, they're gone now, but guess who's going to come back soon? But there's going to be more than just them. There's going to be newer people. And if we treat, some people treat no coiners like you are a no coiner. You were one. Like, who are you to call someone else a no coiner? You also didn't know about crypto before 2017. How dare you be I feel like it's like, come on, it's fun, but let's call them normal people and help them understand the space a little easier. Because you know what? Let's bring Moon back and all that. When someone that doesn't understand the space sees all this stuff, like, what are they going to say? What is Moon? What is all this stuff? And then you just got to explain it. But that's not what they should be like. How do you use it? What is Bitcoin? And where do I find it? Like the first thing they should see is educational stuff, but that's going to be hard. And I'm guilty. We make memes, but we also offer positive and but I'm making memes about people calling people no coiners. So there you go. What do you guys think of that?
I came up with a new term this week.
What's
non-crypto bros.
Non-crypto bros. It's a little nicer.
There you go.
That's so much less elitist than no coiner.
Yeah. and of course, if you're
What is
female, non-crypto bro cha-cha. So
I want to ask you guys, if somebody went up to you and called you a muggle, how would you feel?
It would be kind of silly, I guess.
It would be absolutely silly. So if you come to somebody and call them a no coiner, they're going to look at you stupid.
Yeah, so that's the funniest part is that calling them a no coiner, their eyes are going to go in like 8 directions. So they don't even know.
Really, they're just like, what is this guy crazy?
What is he talking about? No.
So anyway, but along the same lines of Andy, absolutely welcome people into the space.
Yeah, I just think there's more.
Educate.
That's the problem. Bottom line, forget the no corner thing is letting new people in and trying to help them understand it a little bit better than being confused about it.
Vocabulary means nothing to them because it's the same thing as calling somebody a muggle.
And just to add to that is that I do remember in 2017, in the early days where the market was starting to get crazy, people were coming into the space and people were helping people. But I feel like because it's been so slow right now, we've gone into this abyss of like consistent content. We're just circling around our Twitter content, and new news isn't really news. But there's still like adoption happening, and that's kind of what you got to focus on right now during this time as well. Like, so I feel like a mixture of us being in control of how we introduce cryptocurrency to the world and also, spreading the right information. So I guess I went off on a rant on the no corner thing because that's recent for me. So, and I feel like let's call these people like crypto, I like that better, BitBoy. I will accept that one. That makes me feel better.
Bros. Non-crypto bros.
If you said to a I almost said it. I almost said if you said to a no coiner, you see, I am messed up. But if you said, oh, these are my non-crypto bros. They're like, hey, yeah, we're not in crypto. Yeah, how you guys doing? Like, instead they'd be like, what's a no coiner? What are you talking about?
Well, Andy? Was it you that was telling me that? I can't remember if it was you or somebody else, maybe in our little Satoshi Droppers group, that was saying that they had a friend who was called a no coiner and they got like legitimately offended?
That was Andy. And he said,
Yeah.
and I was there for
Yeah.
this. He didn't get offended.
But he didn't know what they were talking about.
Exactly. He was confused because somebody just called him a muggle.
Yeah. It was confusion. It was confusion.
So that's what happened.
But I remember when he heard the word for the first time, he was like totally like, what is that?
Yeah. Because he was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
So
So there's like this, we're going to have to open up the doors to the crypto Twitter eventually, you guys realize. Like everyone's going to have to open those doors to the world because it's going to happen. Everyone wants the bull run, but you got to take responsibility if you're, especially a content creator. Make sure that we know that everyone's, But I the one thing I can't take away from Twitter, the crypto Twitter and maybe crypto in general, is there is a comedy side to it, and I appreciate that so much. So that's the other
it's fun.
thing.
Have fun with it. Well, my big thing kind of sidelining with that one is for the people that are in crypto. Stop being fans of one coin. Quit it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. It's not going to be one coin to rule them all. This is a new revolutionary space for economics and technology and government and everything. It's things are not going to not everything's going to see the record albums are coming back, but let's take a look at albums. What lived on from there, the recording of music, and it's gone on to digital now. We're doing it from the cloud, but so maybe Bitcoin won't make it, but something from Bitcoin won't make it. Maybe Ethereum won't make it, but something from Ethereum will make it. We have to make sure that we pick and choose things properly and support that which we want to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What JChains? I know you've worked with a lot of different projects with the little YouTube series that you have been doing. What do you think about that? Have you encountered communities with different coins that seem like almost cultish?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody sees that. I mean, there are definitely the projects where they, you're just so narrow focused, and I don't say that in a negative way, but so narrow focused on, what your project is doing that you might lose sight of everything else around you. And, like you said, you've got all your eggs in one basket, and you just become, just super focused on that particular project or coin. And I agree with you guys. I don't think that that's a smart. You got to spread the wealth, find some projects, find a couple different industries that you might like or might have a passion in or think is going to be interesting or around. But definitely there are projects where people, that's all they see is what they've got going on, not the big picture, and bringing the big picture to everybody is what we need to be more focused on. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, you got to understand, people were really big fans of BitConnect. So there you go. What happened with
hey.
Hey.
BitConnect?
That will forever be a GIF and a meme for the
And it
rest
should
of
be.
eternity.
That should be a
Forever.
lesson
Should be.
It is a
for
lesson.
everybody for the rest of our lives.
But I will say that I think it's one of the funniest parts of meme, GIF, and funniest, worst things to happen to cryptocurrency.
yeah. So
Well, I mean, even if BitConnect was doing well, even if BitConnect was still doing well, like
Yeah.
it was, even if you just took that whole aspect of it failing and being a scam away, it was still already just so funny. That was like, what a ridiculous character on stage to be yelling like that.
my God.
It wouldn't have mattered where it was. It could have been, any conference, and he just looked so insane. So
And
he's on a water fast, I think, though.
A good example, too, from that, a good lesson is keep in mind that that was also a crypto event, and that was a huge one. It looked big. It was well produced. They put money into that. But that was like normal people got scammed into going to that. And there's so much of that going on. There's a lot of, crypto, like people starting meetups. There's bad information there, too.
there's a lot of flashiness.
So don't
that
forget,
happens.
like,
Yeah, let me talk about let me plug my friend Crypto Crow's conference he's got coming up, because I do agree with you that the conferences, and we're all going to World CryptoCon, or at least me and Andy.
Looking forward to that.
I think Justin JChains is still up in the air on it, but
I'm working on it.
Working on it. Well, I hope to see you there, but we're all going, and it's going to be a great time. I've been to several conferences now, and they're a really great time for the influencers to get to hang out with the other influencers. But as far as the actual content of the conferences themselves, like, it seems like to me that they're almost all money grabs. And that's a really, really bad space for, crypto to be in, where all these places are charging, $2,000 for a ticket. And what ends up happening is everybody is like either an exhibitor or influencer, and there just aren't a lot of people attending. If it was in the bull market, then there would obviously be a lot more attenders there, but they're just trying to squeeze every dollar out of people who come to these events. But my friend Jason Appleton, you guys may know, is Crypto Crow. He actually has a conference coming up in Cincinnati. It's going to be, I believe, February 18th and 19th, or 15th and 16th. It's sometime in February. And
Nice.
it's only going to be $20 per day, so it's 2 days.
Great.
So you can get into the conference for $40 total for both days. The first day is more like, I think, geared towards people that are already in the space, and then the second day is geared towards beginners. So for $20, you will be able to go to a conference. And his whole thing is he's seen what a money grab all of this is, and he wants, like, I really respect what Jason does with Crypto Crow, because he really tries to push like use and adoption. He's looking at this conference as a way to bring people into the space, not a way for him to make money. And in a lot of ways, like if there is more people in crypto, then all of us that are doing crypto for our jobs will benefit from it. So, I think what he's doing really cool. Wanted to talk about that for a second, considering it's really on topic.
That's pretty awesome. And you know what? It kind of reminds me a lot of, it reminds me of Voices of Blockchain in Chicago, where I happened to meet you, BitBoy, when they were talking about that. And originally, when they were setting up the show in the beginning, they said it wasn't a pay to pitch. So anybody that was up there on any of those panels, anybody that was speaking, they didn't pay to get into that position. So you couldn't just be pitching to people that whole time something that they don't want to hear, shilling. So I like that. I like that idea of, let's make it reasonable for the consumer to come and check it out, but don't make it something where someone's just going to cram something down your throat and make you try to buy something.
Yeah, and I actually want to. I think, BitBoy, you hit it on the nose. Is that affordability for these things have to be addressed, because $20, $25. I went to Coin Talks. We had some big speakers. The production was pretty high, and guess how much the tickets were? $24, to go.
Which is reasonable.
And the fact that they were recording it, and they were nice to have a live audience, and they weren't charging an arm and a leg. The problem is that I think that a lot of these, and I'm excited for WorldCon and the other cons I'm going to, but I think they underestimated that, yes, cryptocurrency is popular, but it's nowhere near, gaming convention in LA every year, E3, is a part of a $1 billion industry, which crypto is now, but everyone knows what gaming is. No one even a no gamer knows that something like video games exists. So they're not, I don't think the cons are there quite yet to be doing these ridiculous like prices. Like, it's a little ridiculous. And then they end up cutting and slashing prices as they get closer and giving it free by the time it's over. Like if you've noticed that. So I just want to make, it's just not there yet. The market isn't there yet. But I think you said the influencers are there, and I am pumped to meet other influencers and go to more. And we've been more visible in the LA scene, so we're trying to represent.
Yeah,
some positivity. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up. My mother was in marketing, so I grew up around commercials and advertisement, and I've been able to grow up seeing BS everywhere. And that's the thing is, it's okay for these companies to be flashy or whatever, because the honest truth is, if they come at you in like hoodies and sandals and just kind of trying to tell you something, you're going to think they're crazy. So they do have to have a presentation involved, but you have to really dig in deep to the presentation. You have to dig into their message. You have to dig into their path, and don't just let the flashiness get to you. I mean, we just went to a Blockfolio event on Saturday, which was really cool, very flashy. The drinks were delicious, and
the food was
very good, absolutely wonderful. But the other half is we wanted to be there to see what it was Blockfolio's goal, what are they trying to do, and we like Blockfolio. We're not technical analysis, but it's nice to have something like that to use.
Yeah, and I was using that event to meet people and tell them what I believed in.
And ask questions as well.
Like, so BitBoy and Jay, like, I would sit there, meet a new person. They'd say, what do you do in the space? And what I would tell them? I would, and I think that there's, we're trying to spread this positivity. The Satoshi Droppers in LA, our small group, we're trying to represent some awesome meetups. And, hopefully one day we do a Satoshi Dropper con.
Oh, it's coming.
Yes.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of fun to that, so I'm excited for Vegas, like everyone else is.
Yeah. Like, think about it. Like if you ever go to any of these conferences, just kind of go in. with questions in your head, and an open mind to just listen to people, but don't be, don't walk away going, you know what, I'm sold. Go back home and do some more research.
Yeah, well, I tell you something that I've really that's been weighing on me a little bit with just a lot of these conferences I've been to. Something that's very concerning to me about crypto right now is I've gotten to know so many influencers, and I think a lot of your influencers that are scammers, which we know they're definitely out there, that they don't really come to these conferences, because they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be, have people ask questions. So if you see influencers that are out and about, that are getting around to the conferences, you can pretty much, I'm not going to say guarantee, but, the best bet is that they're probably legit, that they're probably legit. They want to be out in the community. And I've met so many cool people in this space that are influencers. But the thing that really concerns me is after going to all these conferences and talking to a lot of different projects, like I really have started to see that a lot of the influencers know more about crypto than the projects. And that is...
Yeah, that's crazy. You're right, man.
Yeah. and here's the thing: the people that you need to talk to, the people that you really want to ask questions from, they are socially awkward. It's just naturally in this space.
That's true. And that's definitely something in crypto with, that's why I think, we talk about the importance of marketing a lot in crypto and how you can take a bad project and have good marketing and it could do really well. And then you can have, a really great project that has bad marketing and it'll crash. And so the mouthpiece and the representation that a project has at these conferences is really everything. And if the best that you can tote out is somebody who doesn't know that much about the project, then what does that really say about your project,
Yeah, I think we see a lot of that, though. I mean, with some of the altcoin projects that are going to go away. I had seen something, or some guy had gotten into the space. He wanted to take his business onto the blockchain, but it really had no business being on the blockchain because he was just trying to capitalize on the movement, right? Well, things were all right in the beginning, and then it just kind of went south, and there was just no way to salvage it. There's no amount of marketing that you could do to salvage a project that shouldn't be salvaged. So, in some regards, I totally agree with that, and in some, in other regards, it's one of those things where these scams that you're speaking about and projects that really don't belong in the space, like they just need to shake them out. Yeah, and I think that's what we're going through right now.
Yeah, there's one particular influencer, nice guy. I met the guy. I'm not going to name him, but I don't know what he does for this space. Every single one of his posts is like, this is where I am now talking to these people, but says nothing about the project, nothing about the inside. It's just he just has nice videos and nice pictures.
I once was at a meetup, and I won't say names, and there was apparently a big person that was popular.
BitBoy.
And well, this isn't you, BitBoy, because you're, you talk to people.
We said popular.
So what I'm saying is, so I met this guy, and when I got the chance to, talk to him, I said, and we were in a group, I said, what do you do for the space? He's like, yeah, I just make these YouTube videos that are kind of popular. I was like, but what do you do? Like, what is your thing? And he couldn't answer me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I was like, and he like kind of froze up, and then some other guy just started talking to me. I was
he was socially awkward.
It was social. I was like, the guy couldn't even tell me what he like promoted.
I remember that.
It was really strange, and
I take. He had a camera. I take pictures.
I don't know what that means. Tell me what you do.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway,
I actually have a new
too.
category. I have a new category for what I do. When people ask me, I do edutainment. Edutainment.
All right.
I do education, but it's entertaining.
You heard it here.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, edutainment.
I like that. That one works.
And basically that's right now. You can be several different kind of people in the space. You can be a developer. You could educate people, or you could just be a technical analysis, which all of them are needed. All of them are definitely needed. Technical analysis even, but hopefully there's some sort of history on their technical analysis, so that way you can kind of make sure you're following the right person or people in regards to that.
That's
yeah.
So one thing we haven't talked about at all, which I think is a huge, obviously the absolute most toxic thing in the space that we haven't even touched on are the scams, the hacking, the scammers, the ETH giveaways, basically all of that stuff.
Man.
So what
airdrops?
Yeah, airdrops. That's another.
Airdrops, I think, that's something that can just kill a community.
Yeah.
Just could kill it.
I'll tell you, I never heard of the word airdrop until 2017, and like where it was mainstream, and people were on Twitter like, "Sign up for the airdrop." There were airdrops every day. I felt like I was in a war zone on Twitter. It was crazy.
Well,
that immediately was a red flag immediately when I started seeing that happening.
Well, and that was because of a shift in the way that people were doing ICOs. You know, I mean, that's
I understand,
why they didn't
but
exist, you know.
I'm not saying that there's bad. There are good airdrops, but they're technically scams. They can be.
Well,
So,
I'll never do
just
another
saying.
one because that's how I got hacked. So I'll certainly.
There you go.
I'll,
you yourself know.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. I think that.
Yeah.
I think that the idea of the airdrops is really cool. It's, you know what? Instead of trying to raise all this money, let's actually have a use case. Let's hand out all of our tokens and then let the community agree on the value. And that's basically what the airdrops are trying to do. Now, sometimes they would try to peg it like, oh, it's going to be worth this. But you guys know, if you look at CoinMarketCap and you see, you know, once a project gets listed on there, you know, it almost always plummets or either spikes, you know. So it's never really is never realistically pegged before it actually gets launched on exchanges. But the idea of it is really cool. The problem is the scamming game in crypto is so far beyond any other scamming game in the entire world in any category, because crypto is so prone to have hackers already in it, you know, because it's basically trying to get around the current way that we do things. And that's obviously why hackers exist. And so they're just so creative with the stuff that they do. I found one. Now, I don't think this is technically a scam, but this is absolutely crazy. So I was checking my Ether wallet, and I had a coin. I won't name it for the simple fact that that's all they want is the notoriety from it. But there's a coin that was deducted out of my account. Somebody had taken 100 of them out of my account, but it never actually even existed in my account. And it's like this weird way that they figured out how to like tweak the code on transactions to show something coming out of your account on my Ether wallet that was never there. And the whole purpose that they're doing is just they want you to see it and be like, what is this? And research it and go to their website. The whole premise is, I guess, like free marketing for them. And it's like the stuff that people come up with to do is absolutely insane in this space. And it's like, well, I found for my case, I got phished basically. And I lost about $2,400, but that was actually probably about $8,000 worth of investments that were down, you know? And, I lost all of that. And, you know, it was my own fault, but I had judged the crap out of people that had been hacked before. Like, oh, how could you do that? How could you let these people in your account? But they're so sophisticated, it's easy. It's actually easier to do than you think. And you don't want to be on my side where you're feeling judged because you judged other people. So,
yeah, go, sorry, Jay.
Oh no, I was just kind of agreeing to that. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing, very simple. If it's too good to be true, probably is. Also, you know, we talked to John McAfee. John McAfee even got scammed, and he's definitely not somebody who's new to the space at all. So it's gonna happen. We are still in the early stages. People are gonna, no matter what you do, maybe you'll get hit by something. But there are things that you can do to protect yourself, and if you're new to this space, learn those things. Like never give your private keys out to anybody else. If it's one of the big red flags to me personally is if they're offering you extra coins when you sign somebody else up and have them invest. That sounds like a pyramid scheme to me, and quite often it is, depending on the project. Only invest whatever you're willing to lose. 1, 2. If you can't get in on the early pre-ICO thing, don't worry about it. That's actually a good thing, because how many pre-ICOs have been sold and nothing has come of them? You know, those people are losing money as we speak. Wait till things prove themselves. Wait till things come in. Wait till the market regulates, and then jump in when it's a bit safer for you. That's my big advice to new people coming in.
But when Moon though?
When
Lambo, when Lambo.
Tomorrow.
When Moon.
Just sell your
when
house, guys.
Yaris. We should just turn this into something else, like a food show. We should just stop talking about crypto, huh? Just kidding.
Here's the thing. it's all about learning, education. Right now, we're in a time when anything can happen and everything can happen. Dreams are being manipulated and dreams are coming true.
I think
the same aspect.
I think the other side of this, guys, is that we're dealing with internet here, and with internet comes hacking with any kind of programs, and then yes, it's true. The blockchain is kind of sort of untouchable, but the apps that connect to the blockchain and the services that connect to the blockchain as third parties, or whether it's an exchange, a hot wallet, those things can be hacked. And they could be manipulated. Now, like McAfee's wallet, he says, can be hacked now, but you can't get the money because it's his hot wallet's different. I mean, look, CoinCheck took a huge hit. Was it this year or was it last year, I guess?
I think it was this year.
It was this year, just the beginning of this year. Poor, innocent people believed in CoinCheck, which to me is the Coinbase of Japan. So, just to say that you think Coinbase is protected, I don't think anyone's protected right now. So the best place is cold storage, in my opinion. And if you have to trade, you put in the trade money you need. But cold storage is the only thing I could recommend to be safe with your crypto and not get hacked.
Yeah, so. I think Coinbase is actually insured. Coinbase is the only one out there that is insured. I think it's $250,000.
Well, CoinCheck paid back their people. They pay back their people. I'm just saying, I'm talking about hacking. They were still, that doesn't mean that, but that.
They were vulnerable.
Dealing with insurance sucks. I lost my car recently. So you think you're going to want to say someone that has 20 Bitcoin one day on their Coinbase account and something happened and they have to wait for insurance to kick in on 20 mil of Bitcoin? Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if Coinbase is got insurance on all this Bitcoin money.
Banks were insured.
I'm just saying, no one is safe right now. No one is SAFU. As they'd say. But they are getting better at security, though, BitBoy. I will say that. They are. In America, I feel like our exchanges are, at least Coinbase has been technically safe. There's been some, insider things we're questioning.
Right.
But,
yeah. And also, this space isn't user-friendly. It's
also,
not very easy for everybody to get into this thing, so there's a big learning curve.
Does anyone remember Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah.
Double I Bitcoin?
Steven Seagal, right?
Steven Seagal. Don't forget that names are tricky. We do a show called Shitcoin or Pokemon, which, BitBoy, I'm sorry, you're still last place, and I know that sucks.
But I did win Naomi's show, so...
Yes, I heard.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Congrats.
But I'm saying, I keep telling you, there's going to be a chance to redeem yourself with that. I promise.
Well, my kid just got into Pokemon.
I'm rooting for you.
So I've been studying the cards.
Good. But the point of the show is obvious. It's like some ICOs sound like Pokemon, which is kind of... scary.
The people. This Bitcoin
names are
Bitcoin
confusing
Cash,
too.
Bitcoin Private, Bitcoin Dark. There's Diamond.
Green.
There's literally Bitcoin Pizza. It's really a thing.
Yeah, they're trying to confuse.
It's a confusion
new people
tactic.
coming in, and so this is gonna suck for new people coming in. We as the community, it's on us to make sure that we try to do our best to protect as many noobs as possible coming into the space.
And that's why it's so unfortunate that you have a guy like Roger Ver, who is just trying to outright manipulate people with Bitcoin Cash. I mean, you can look at a lot of examples of how he's done that. And I'm not really one to call people out by name, but I feel like he is one who is a cancer to our community.
That's okay. You can call him out.
Yeah, well, I did.
And he's listening right now.
He's listening right now, hopefully. Hey, Roger.
Come on the show.
Yeah, come on. We'll talk to you.
But, I mean, in all seriousness, though, with what they've done with Bitcoin.com, what they've done with @Bitcoin, the Twitter address, what they've done with the BTC subreddit, it is really manipulative. And I don't think it speaks well to Bitcoin Cash and their movement on what they're trying to do and say, oh, it's Satoshi's original vision and things like that. By manipulating people. It really is sad to me. And I literally know people who have bought Bitcoin Cash because they thought it was Bitcoin. I know that really blows the mind to think that that's even a thing that can happen. But, like I said, it's just cancerous to our community when we're, backing a project that the whole thing is trying to manipulate people and trick them into what is Bitcoin and what is not Bitcoin. So what do you guys think about Roger Ver and what he is doing?
Wait, this is a kid-friendly show?
Yes, family friendly.
Got it. Okay.
Got to keep it for the kids.
No. I'll start because in the early days, and I've said this before to some people that I know, in the early days, Roger Ver was actually respected, looked up to, was a very strong lobbyist for Bitcoin and like the start of it, and was a part of that history. So I actually believed he was, a really quality guy. And then the Bitcoin Cash thing happened, and let's be honest, that didn't happen like a long time ago. That was very recent. And I get it. He has some major investments in this, so he is figuring out a way to say like, listen, the original Bitcoin code is this, and Bitcoin forked to Bitcoin Cash. This is the true Bitcoin. That's the problem. It's not. And I have a problem with that, and my views towards him changed because of that. And now, where I did respect him as a person in the space that helped this space get to where it is, he's changed, and I don't know if I can agree with him.
One of the questions that you have to ask yourself when you're looking into any token or coin is, who has what to gain? Who gains what from where? And Roger Ver had a huge thing to gain. He had a lot of Bitcoin, and he realized, if I fork this, I'll have double. And maybe he really did genuinely not like the path that Bitcoin was going to. Sure, I'll give him that. But if he really believed in it, then he wouldn't be lying to people. And that's what he's doing right now. Roger Ver is lying to people.
And when you really dig into the facts behind Bitcoin Cash, I mean, there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on with it as well. There's a lot of questions of centralization. They say 90% of the nodes are, basically located all within, I can't remember what the number was, like 100 miles from each other. So it's not like it's totally out front. And, there's this question all the time of like, what is Satoshi's vision? And, unfortunately, in my personal opinion, I believe Satoshi's dead. I think it's, most likely Hal Finney. And there's a couple other candidates who are also dead. I think there's about a 50-50 shot. But, with that being the possible case, like, we'll never really know. I mean, and I think that's really a blessing for Bitcoin, that it doesn't have a person out there like Roger Ver who's always trying to speak for it and speak for the original vision, because over time, people's visions change. People adapt to whatever's going on currently. So we don't even know if Satoshi is alive. And if he is, would he even really... where would he be right now with what he thinks about, what's going on with Bitcoin? So
I think it was recently, in the recent years, the ideology of Bitcoin has been filtered out, and kind of like the one I remember when I came in has kind of the anonymous, like
right.
the erase the third party, and then here's Ripple who works with third parties, and here's all these other companies and blah blah blah. Like, it's just like, man, it's just the ideology has to come back a little bit. But here's the thing that would have changed my view on this whole Bitcoin Cash thing. And we've talked about this. All he had to do was say, okay, I'm doing a fork of Bitcoin. I'm calling it Ver Cash. Okay, and I'm making a company, and I'm gonna do this with it. I'm gonna make it a pay coin or something. Like Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin, but Charlie was like, you know what? I'm changing the name. I don't want to confuse people. This is something new. This is Litecoin. That is a difference. That is a huge difference, guys, and that's a very small thing. Yeah. But it turns out to be he's playing on and pulling in new people that don't know what it is, and then they're like, no, I heard that guy Roger Ver, he's popular, right? He was in documentaries. He said Bitcoin Cash. He's a billionaire. He said Bitcoin Cash is the true Bitcoin, so I'm going to buy that. Sorry, man. I'm not going to listen to you, who's been in Bitcoin for 6 years.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He has influence, and he used it.
And we got to speak up on it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're speaking on it. Yeah.
You also got to take advice of the treehouse guy.
Right.
Yes.
It's nice. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of flashiness. There's, we're still not out of the darkness yet. We're still not out of the. But we're still not out of. We're not in the clear yet.
I watched an interview with him, and I was so disappointed that they didn't even at least attempt to ask the question why you did that. And I know he's been asked it, and he has an answer. He does.
Somebody I know just recently interviewed him, and
I was like,
they're
how could you
"Oh,
just
I think
avoid
Bitcoin Cash
that
is gonna
question?
Take over Bitcoin.
You know what that tells me? If you interviewed him and you don't at least ask him that question just to get, because he has a point of view on it. Like, he'll answer that question. Okay? He will, but if you're going to ask him questions, make sure you ask him why. Because if we have him on the podcast, but I don't know if we will, we'd ask him why. But remember,
I'm gonna rip him.
maybe. But remember, someone once told me you would shake the hand of a president you don't like if you met them in person, right?
No.
But it's a saying, Daniel. But what I'm saying is like if I saw him at a conference, I'm not gonna like throw eggs at him. But we could do things with our point of view, it's just like Roger Ver's trying to do to confuse people. So that's pretty much the bottom line.
Yeah, it's we're in a fight. We're in a war. We're in everything. We're in a war. We're in the Wild Wild West. We're in a new revolution. We're in all the whole shebang here. So there's gonna be good and bad, and the point
There's
is
gonna be shebangs. You know,
I love shebangs.
There'll be plenty of shebangs, guys. Promise.
We like shebangs.
So,
we do.
Shebang. There's been many of a shebang.
Yeah, I'm like it's gonna be. We got some time. We got a long ways to go.
And you know, Crypto Boy. I almost called you Crypto Boy. Your name is BitBoy.
Somebody called me Crypto Boy.
Oh my God.
Some
I'm
ICO that would talk to me. They were like, "Hello, Crypto Boy. We would like to talk to you."
Hello, Crypto.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hello, Crypto Boy.
I thought about
now
doing.
I think I lost my train
asked
of
my
thought.
wife if she thought it'd be funny if I took like some male modeling shots. You know what I mean? And started going by BitBay. You know, for a bit for the show. You know, BitBay instead of BitBoy. I don't know. Maybe nobody else think that was funny. My wife certainly didn't think it was funny. But
that sounds about right.
In all seriousness, though, you know, JChains brought up the Treehouse guy, and if you guys don't know what he's talking about, you know, the Treehouse guy is basically from a CNBC documentary that they did, and basically they tried to throw Bitcoin under the bus and the whole crypto community, similarly to the way that John Oliver did. And just a last kind of thing to wrap up this topic for today's show. You know, it seems like the thing about like crypto Twitter and the crypto space is everybody wants to be taken seriously. You know, like we all want to be taken seriously in the space. We don't want people to think that crypto and Bitcoin is a joke. And yet so much of what happens in the crypto community, we've already talked about a lot of it, about talking about, you know, Win Moon, Win Lambo, my poor family, the prophecy that was fulfilled when Romero went out to Las Vegas. You can look that up for yourself. We're family friendly. Can't really talk about it. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the space that's just really silly. And there's an aspect of it that, like, there's a part of that that's fun. But then there's also a part of that where it goes too far that I think is toxic and does make us look bad. So what do you guys have? You guys have any, you know, final thoughts on that and how we can kind of be taken a little more seriously as a crypto community?
Yeah, basically, the only thing that in order for us to be taken seriously, we have to be the ones to put that foot forward. We have to be the ones to come out and really educate the people, because the first thing that I tell that when I say, "Oh, I'm into Bitcoin," they're like, "The drug one, the drug money," and I was like, "Nah, not exactly." So we have to take our licks. You know, people are gonna put us down. People are gonna do whatever, and say that we're crazy, or say that we don't know what we're talking about, or they don't understand. We have to be prepared for that, and hold them by the hand. Not give up, not get frustrated. That's a big one. Don't get frustrated. And just when people are ready to listen, or if you have somebody's ear who is genuinely interested in it, do your best to tell them, to guide them, basically. Because that's the only way that we're going to be able to change minds. That's the only way that we're going to get people on board. America, the states are probably going to be the hardest one to get certain areas of the country on board, because we're in a lovely economy as far as they're concerned. We're doing fine. What do we need this for? And I don't trust it and all this other stuff. So it's going to take a little time here in the States, but it's not that difficult to convince other countries that are in hyperinflation to come on board, because they've been dying for something like this.
And my final thought goes out to all the developers, all the GitHub people that are working their asses off to actually create this technology for us. And don't forget, influencers out there, that these people, maybe they're not on Twitter, maybe they're not on Reddit, but there's guys and girls that are coding this technology so that we could one day see it adopted. So don't forget the developers. And I've interviewed developers because, yes, it's technical to understand them. If you listen to like a technical blockchain development podcast, you're not meant to because you don't really understand it. But remember, they're working hard too. And I just wanted to leave people to remember that. I think we forget about the developers sometimes. So cheers to them. And a great topic, by the way.
Or developers.
Yeah, cheers to the developers. I like that.
Yeah, the people behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, how many people talk about the projects, but what about the people that are actually like doing the code and working their asses off and probably not getting paid very well? Some of them.
And that's the stuff we can't do.
Who knows?
That's the stuff that's where I'm limited. Like, there's pretty much nothing in crypto that I can't learn and learn how to talk about. Like, I don't do TA on my channel, but if I really wanted to learn it, like I could learn it. It wouldn't be very hard. But the development aspect, that's the one piece where I have to rely on people. I have to rely on people to give me information.
What would you call your chart? I got to stop you. What would you call your chart show? Because I love your titles of your shows and stuff. Yeah, what would your chart show be?
I don't know. That's a great question. Charts and charts?
Bit charts with BitBoy.
Charts and charts.
I like it.
Charts? Yeah, charts and charts. That's what I'd call it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to know. I had to know.
And
charts? Charts and charts.
Welcome to Charts and Charts. I love it. I love it. Gotta make t-shirts, man. Anyway, Charts and Charts.
I was just off the
I'm
dome.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
What'd you say, JChains?
I said, I'll take one of those shirts, Charts and Charts.
Yeah.
It's sad. That's all I can come up with. I wish I was prepared with something wittier than that.
That's number one. So whenever that you decide to TA, you know exactly what that title has to be. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
We'll go for it.
That was funny.
Well, cool. Well, we certainly have enjoyed having you guys on as our first guests, and certainly look forward to working with you guys some more in the future and having you guys on again. So, my final thoughts for today's show are just remember, if you're out there, this community is small. And that if you're listening to this podcast right now, you are part of the community, and you have a responsibility, in my opinion, to protect this community. If you're in it, you have a responsibility to protect it. And that's really how we are going to make a dent in this movement that we're trying to do called cryptocurrency and blockchain. This is how we're going to get to mainstream and adoption, is through continually pushing the message and lifting each other up with positivity. So that's what we want to do on this podcast, is really help build community, spotlight some of the things that are really important that we need to continue to push for, and things like that. So what about you, JChains?
I mean, I'd echo what all three of you said. Andy and Daniel, you guys brought some great insights into the show today. So thanks for being here. It's just like you said, man. Just take care of the community. Let's all look out for each other. No scamming, no scheming. Let's advance crypto. Let's advance blockchain. Let's give it up to the developers. Let's get the projects, and then let's just get some implementation of all these projects that we've been watching, for the last couple of years. Let's get them going. Let's start this economy. Let's start this new way that we're going to live, and the way the world's going to be. And I look forward to it. And if it's a couple of years from the road, whatever. Let's take care of each other and do it right.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Well, hey, real quick before we go, will you guys just the Coin Boys? Will you guys tell everybody where they can find you at?
Yeah, our website is really easy. It's thecoinboys.com. There's actually 3 buttons there for SoundCloud, Google Play, and iTunes. And of course, you can go to our partners page and click the double B, BitBoy Crypto, and you could check out BitBoy's YouTube channel through our website as well. Thanks for having us. And of course, on Twitter, it's Coinboys Podcast, and Instagram is Coinboyscast. We have fun on Instagram, that's for sure.
Yes, fun on Instagram. Twitter is a little bit more
strictly
important.
business.
There'll always be our updated our updated episode for the week is always pinned to the top of the Twitter and with all the links. Thanks so much, guys.
This was fun.
Daniel, I had a blast. It's nice to sit back and kind of talk with you guys, because I think, BitBoy, you've always hit the nail on the head. We're average crypto bros, but we're a little bit more informative, I think, all of us. So And Justin, awesome. Thanks. It was great to do an episode with you guys. And we're supportive of this awesome new podcast. And I'm sure, of course, they're coming on the Coin Boys podcast. And I think, Justin, you're going to have to play Pokemon or Shitcoin. So
you got to sit in for me.
You're going to have to get ready.
I'll do it.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, but you're going to have to, if he gets a better score than me, you're going to have to put it as like Beards and Bitcoins. You can't put his name because I need to be attached to a win in that game. But however, if he loses and does worse than me,
there's a tournament.
If he does worse than me, I'm going to need his name on there. So
that's gotcha.
I will say this: that the whole idea is that there will be a round robin tournament before the year is out.
I'm coming for it.
But because we can only do it once a year.
That's a tall.
I'm freaking
task.
Rocky. I'm Rocky training over here. I'm running stairs.
I'm already
lifting logs. I've been over to Russia. You know, like I'm ready.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Well,
that's how you grow that beard.
Big shout out to Huddle Fuel, our sponsor for the podcast here. You guys don't forget to enter our contest. And I guess that is going to wrap it up. So I am BitBoy. You guys can find me at BitBoy_HODL. That is JChains. You can find him at Colonel Custard. And that's it, guys. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Later.
Peace.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening to Beards and Bitcoins. If you like what you heard, show these guys some love and rate review on SoundCloud or iTunes. Also, remember you can always find the guys on social media. The show Twitter page is @BeardsBitcoins. You'll find direct links to BitBoy and JChains from there. Make sure you check for updates, announcements, and contests. Good luck to all who enter. See you next time.